we're back in our favorite country, Italy. This time, my wife and I are taking on the legendary Alta Via 1, a 75-mile point-to-point trek through the heart of the Italian Dolomites. We'll be climbing rugged trails, crossing jaw-dropping ridgelines, and earning every espresso, strudel, and mountain view along the way. It's going to be challenging, unforgettable, and filled with all the reasons we keep coming back here. Welcome to the Italian Dolomites. Venice, where our story begins. Sivan and I have been here a few times, but it's always worth another visit. There's just something surreal about a city where boats are the main way to get around. It's truly impressive to see in person. We wander through its rich history, hit up a few of our favorite local spots, and of course, enjoyed an Aperol Spritz or two while we were at it. That afternoon, we hopped on a bus from Mestre and headed 3 hours north to one of our favorite mountain towns of all time, Cortina di Ampezzo. This place has it all: endless hiking trails, winter ski runs, and some of the best mountain food you'll find anywhere. We even returned to the very restaurant where Sivan and I first ate after I proposed almost 4 years ago. The next morning, we set off early, walking to the bus station for the first of 2 rides that would take us to one of the most iconic alpine lakes in all of Italy, Lago di Braies. And that's where our journey really begins. All right, good morning, everybody. Good morning. Welcome to day 1 of 5 along this Alta Via 1 trek. I've actually been dreaming about doing this hike for years, ever since we started to come to Italy about 4 years ago. Day 1 here on the trek, we're starting at Lago di Braies and then making our way up to Rifugio, which is about 14 miles, and it's going to cover about a little under 6,000 feet of vert. Actually, it's going to be a big climbing day, but it's gonna be all worth it. Can't wait to start this one off with you guys. It's gonna be a great 5 days. Let's enjoy. All right, well, as nice as that little 1.5 around the lake was, I think that's about all the warm-up we're gonna get for the day, because for the next 2.5 miles, we have almost 3,000 feet of vert, so thank God we live at altitude. After about 4.25 miles in, we finally made it to our first big pass, and it was a big one. It was a lot of vert. It was extremely tough, but it does pay to live in Colorado. Now that we're at the top, we're gonna go down and actually stop at this little Rifugio and maybe see if we can't get a couple snacks in. Maybe a cappuccino wouldn't hurt right now either, but all in all, it's just been an amazing day. Wouldn't have anyone else with me right now besides Sivan. She's been through so much with me, and if you guys are ever seen any of these videos before, you know that we've done a bunch of tough hikes in the past, the Tour de Mont Blanc, you know, just traveling all over the world together, and it's been just an amazing time. It's great to have somebody that will go to battle with you every day and just go and explore the world together, and I definitely am very grateful for that. But right now, I'm gonna be very grateful for a cappuccino, just as much. So at this point we still have a little over half of the mileage left in the day, but just starting the AV1, I mean, it's really well marked. Italy's done a really good job of just keeping you on the trail. Also, on the TMB, when Sivan and I hiked it a few years back, we were able to get a lot of water just from a bunch of different local fill-up spots. I mean, like every 4 miles or so. And here, I mean, we haven't gone that far yet, but here it seems like it's a little more sparse, especially just here high up in the Dolomites. But we just found one fill-up station, and just be on the safe side, we filter everything out that we drink. So I mean, regardless of whether it's going to be clean drinking water or potable, and we just want to be extra cautious. Right now the watch is saying we're at about 10 miles, and from here to Rifugio Fanes, it's about another 1,800 feet of vert over the next almost, I want to say like 3 miles. So that puts us at about another hour and 50 to 2 hours walking. Dinner tonight at the Rifugio is not till 7:30, so I think we have plenty of time to get there, shower up, and just enjoy dinner. All right, guys, welcome back for day number 2. First day went really well. Ended up finishing around, I think around like 5:30 when we got to Rifugio Fanes, which Sivan and I have been to quite a few Refugios now in our days. This Rifugio behind us is by far our favorite, I think, that we've stayed at. Not only are the amenities and the location just perfect, but the staff itself were just next level. Everyone was so kind. And to top it off, you know, Sivan, as the little cappuccino fiend as she is, she voted this the best cappuccino that she's had in Italy so far. So that's got to get you guys some bonus points right there alone. Now on today's hike, we're gonna be hiking from Rifugio Fanes all the way up to our next Rifugio for the night, Pezzi de Peru. And it's about 14.5 miles with a little over 4,800 feet of vert and about 3 good climbs. And we actually had to deviate from the main Alta Via 1 trail itself just to be able to find a hut for the night. Not too mad about it though. Gives us a little more reason to explore it a little more and see some stuff we haven't really seen before. So gonna get after this first climb. Let's enjoy the day. Sivan and I are just finishing off our first big climb of the day. And these views from the top, I don't know, you guys, how would you describe them? Finished up pass number 2 of the day, and it was a little interesting. It started out hot, open area, and then it just changed quickly into a bunch of snowpack. We definitely had a few spots where we had to scramble. My right foot is completely drenched right now, but for these views to my right, they're so worth it. We just got down from our big descent here and filled up some water at one of the stations next to this, not Rifugio, it's more of just like a big restaurant. And I think we're actually just gonna go inside and grab some food here. And then we'll have our next big climb be the last of the day. We maybe got a couple more hours until we get to our Rifugio for the night. But this next uphill is one that we're looking forward to because it's actually an area that we've hiked several times and gets better and better every time we come back. For now, it's coffee time. Welcome to day 3 on our Alta Via 1 adventure. Yesterday's hike was a lot longer than we thought, but it ended up being one of the best days on the trail so far. We lucked out again on Rifugio and stayed at Pezzi de Peru, and our host Fabiano, and I believe it's his wife, were just next level hosts. Fabiano actually called us before we got to the Rifugio and asked where we were, and we were still like a 25-minute walk from the hut, and he's like, don't worry, I'm gonna come pick you up. So he actually drove up the road and picked us up and brought us to the Rifugio for the night. The Rifugio itself ended up being this quaint little place, and it was just so nice. The rooms were so well done. breakfast this morning was absolutely outstanding. There was a whole table of food for just us 4 guests there. He actually brought us all back up to Paso Gyao in his truck this morning, and just generosity alone, he's just a great guy. So if you guys ever get a chance, Paso de Peru, you gotta go. But now we're gonna be starting at the top of Gyao Pass, which Sivan and I have been here a couple times now. We've hiked around it, so it's kind of nice that we deviated from the Alta Via one a little bit this morning, but we've already hiked the trail behind us that connects Rifugio Scoiattoli with Paso Gyao. It's really gonna be our shortest day by far. And we're gonna be finishing up at Rifugio Stolanza. Maybe we'll do some offshoots or a couple different side trails. But already from starting at Paso Gyao, we can already tell that just this little section alone, it's gonna be so nice. So let's enjoy the day. So we're just at a little over 3.5 miles into today's hike, and we just got a nice little surprise. There's a pass, an overlook that you can see back into Cortina di Ampezzo, and so I just took a second and had one glass glimpse. This city has been so good to us. We've had so many good memories here and a lot more to make, but I don't know, I know it's going to be a place where we come back for years and years the rest of our life, and I think if you spent a lifetime here, you still would not see or do everything, because there's just so much to do in the area. But it's just so nice to get one last look, one last glimpse of probably our favorite mountain town in all of Europe. Next time we can come back, it'll be a treat. But until then, that's one good memory to hold on to. All right, good morning everybody, and welcome to day number 4 on the trail of the Alta Via 1. Yesterday's trek was pretty nice. It actually ended up being just a little bit under 10 miles in the day, but it was a really nice solid day still. I got to see a lot of good views. We were able to go until like a little later in the afternoon before we got to our Rifugio for the day at Rifugio Stolanza. Really nice place, had an awesome dinner. The breakfast this morning was a little more simple, so we had like yogurt, breads, coffee, and some meats and cheese. But now we're all fueled up and ready to go today. We ended up leaving at around 7:30 because today is going to be a pretty solid day as far as effort goes. All Trails is showing us that it's going to be about 17 miles with about 5,200 feet of vert. And there's about 3 solid climbs, 2 being really big, and then there's actually just a bunch of small little crest that we're gonna have to go through throughout the day. But I've seen on this trail after Rifugio Vasalor that it gets pretty sketchy along cliffed out edges. Let's have us today. Just stopped off at Rifugio Coldai and got a few bars. We're gonna share a strudel here in a little bit, but it was a good just little stop at the top of this ski lift here. Just a beautiful area. It was a great climb, tough climb, but we're making really good time. Sivan is absolutely crushing it. I think from our Rifugio Stellanza to the top of Rifugio Coldai, it was supposed to take us like 2 hours and 40 minutes, and we just rolled over the 2-hour marker. So hopefully that's an indication of how the rest of the day is gonna go. Not gonna get too far ahead of ourselves because we got a long ways to go and a lot harder routes coming, but so far, so good. At about the 9.5 mile marker here on today's hike, we just stopped at Rifugio Vasalor and we topped off, got a couple sandwiches each. We actually got 2 each because the other day at one of the Refugios we had a takeaway lunch and inside of it was a sandwich, and it was a really small sandwich for 10 euro. And so these ones here are 6 euro each, so we thought to just get 2 of them, and they actually are ginormous. We still got a long descent to go before our last climb, and not looking forward to that last climb, you guys, because we're getting a few clouds rolling in right now. But like I said, fingers crossed the rain stays away, but at least we'll have a full belly while we're at it. I forgot my poles. Probably shouldn't forget those. That's got sketchy written all over it. But we got this. We got this. Just going right along here. If my brother's watching, that's a lot steeper than what a GoPro shows. Let's get this part out of the way. All right, almost out of the woods. We're almost through the highest point of this pass before we go down another about 3.5 miles to Paso Duran for the night. Not done yet though, a little bit more to go. All right, you guys, good morning and welcome back to day 5 on the Alta Via 1, our last day. Actually, we're gonna be finishing up this morning. We're gonna be doing a lot shorter hike today than we first initially had planned. We were planning on doing the whole hike. It's a little bit of a bummer because on Sundays, the bus that runs from La Pisa to Belluno, where we're gonna be catching a train back to Venice, they only have 2 stops today. One at like 1 p.m. and the other one at like 4:20. So we wouldn't be able to actually catch it in time. We still had about 18 miles of the hike to go before we would actually get down to the bus stop. And I don't think we'd be able to get there by 4:30 this afternoon. So in order to get down to the earlier bus, we're gonna have to go straight down to Agordo, just via a couple of these trails. That's all right though. We still got a bunch of really good views today. It's been an awesome trip though too. Last night, it just wrapped up what was an amazing 4 nights of Rifugio as we stayed at Paso Duran, and the host there, she was absolutely amazing. Just, I mean, we've been so lucky at every single place that we've been, and with all the people we met along the way too, it's just been a really good time overall. And I think this is one of the reasons why Sivan and I love to come and do these treks. But now we're gonna get back on the trail. We got a little bit of ways to go until we get to the town of Agordo. We're not done yet. So I got a whole lot of views to take in. Just stumbled upon this trail coming down the main road from Paso Duran and decided to give it a go because I think it leads down to the town, and we really don't want to be on a road for the last part of the AV1. This is kind of like getting a little treat because there's nobody else in this forest, just like having our own little private wilderness to ourselves in the morning.
This marks the end of our journey on the Alta Via 1. Sivan and I shared a final strudel at what would be our stopping point. Bittersweet knowing the trail continues even as we pause. Though this chapter has come to a close, it's far from the end. These mountains have found a permanent place in our hearts. The Dolomites have become more than just a destination for us. We've seen countless peaks and shared quiet moments only the trail can offer. And while this journey ends here, our Italian adventures are just getting started. Until next time, we'll carry these views in our minds and hearts, grateful for each glimpse of what we believe to be the most breathtaking mountain range in the entire world.